Hello everybody, my name is Jwpro14 and welcome back to Danganronpa. And last time we did the investigation for the class trial, and now we are going to the class trial, so yeah, that's actually kinda it. So let's start this wacky playthrough! So it's actually so everyone is ready to what? Am I blind or are we missing someone?
Yo.
Yeah, Toko's not here.
Huh?
And Toko is... Huh? You really don't remember?
Come on!
Kidding, I'm just kidding. How could I forget that little nut job? She's a crucial part of this class this time. That's right.
What are you gonna do?
Okie dokie, I'll go get... head and drag her out of kicking and screaming just one moment, please. And just like that, a few minutes later, he reappeared, dragging Coco behind. I told him I didn't want to go, but he forced me. I can't believe you dragged the girl around. Terrible, you're terrible. Phew. So now everyone's here, right? Okay then. Hustle on to the elevator and let's get this show on the road. I'll see you guys down there.
Let's go.
So shall we get going? It's time to find out who. It's time to find out who killed Chihiro Fuyisaki. She was so gentle, so calm, meek, and meek was meek. Nobody had any problems with her. Someone made a choice to kill a girl like that. I suspect biker guy the most, but it could also be nerd. Could just click on the door. I'm like, I have to click it. Yes. Okay, I didn't reply. I wasn't reading actually. What did I say? Whatever I just said yes to. Transcript. We have no choice, right? We have to do this. Yes, blah blah blah. Okay. We want to work forward. Relax. When you step forward, I can feel my heart starting to race faster and faster. As soon as everyone was on, the elevator began to descend. I couldn't get a handle of my emotions. Couldn't stop speculating. The seal box sank with heavy clunking sounds deeper and deeper into the ground. And as we sank deeper to the uneasiness in my heart grew bigger and bigger. The elevator was unshafted, however, and continued descent without hesitation. Until finally it came to a sudden stop. Welcome to my room. What do you think I redecorated? What do you think? I redecorated. Isn't it fresh? Isn't it exciting? Don't waste our time with stupid questions. Let's get this over with.
Very nice.
Good. You're raring to go. Gotta say, I don't hate it. Not at all.
Well?
Okay then. Let's get this show on the road.
Thrills, chills, kills!
Everyone, find your assigned seats. And so the curtain opened once again. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, again? A deadly crash trial. Is this going to... Yeah, I would like to say it. It's going to go every time we come here. Oh, I got it.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if then I'll punish it. Okay, let's talk about.
Little blow.
But it was an iron pipe.
Fuck you with your iron pipe.
No, that's wrong.
Can we agree that the object that dealt the fatal blow was the dumbbell, found at the scene of the crime?
I can sure agree.
It was covered in blood, and there was nothing else at the scene that could have caused that kind of injury.
Yeah.
And the wound on the victim's head is consistent with the shape of the dumbbell. As far as I'm concerned, there's no mistake and no room for doubt on this one.
You looked at her head wound?
Yay! That's so creepy!
If you don't mind, I will proceed from here. Let's move on to discussion of the culprit. Although, I believe the criminal behind this heinous act is already quite clear. What? For real? Chihiro's killer is the fiendish serial killer, Genocide Jack.
No proof for it.
Fuck you.
No, that's wrong. I might know one reason he could be involved.
What?
I found this file while I was looking around the archive in the library. I guess it's some kind of confidential file the police put together about the Genocide Jack case.
I think Bjarke's looking at him. Fuck you. I want this.
That's kind of weird as shit, isn't it? What was something like that doing in the library?
The why of it is probably more trouble than it's worth, so let's forget about that for now. More importantly, it outlines all the specifics of every Genocide Jack case in exceeding detail.
Yes.
According to the file, there appear to be two defining characteristics in
dumbass.
every Genocide Jack case. The first is that a bloody message is found written at the scene of every murder.
Oh, that's right. Boob lust.
No. It's actually bloodlust.
But more important is the other characteristic, and it's something that has never been made public.
Never made public? What the hell is it?
Why don't you tell them, Makoto?
Another thing that particular case doesn't know. At large doesn't know. I'm mistaken. It was the victim.
I got it!
position.
Apparently, in every Genocide Jack case, the killer suspends the body in a certain way. Other than the killer, the only people who know about this are the higher-ups in the police department.
Yep.
However, Chihiro was most definitely suspended in the same way. So, how did the culprit know about this when only high-level police officials were aware of it? There's only one logical answer I can think of. It's because the culprit in this case is the real Genocide Jack.
Doesn't have to.
No fucking way!
You're saying Genocide Jack is one of us?
Yes, in fact, it's Toko.
What?
What?
Genocide Jack's true identity is Toko Fukawa.
You lie!
What?
Well, he isn't wrong, but he is wrong about
Okay,
Genocide Jack.
wait,
did.
hold on a sec. Toko has, like, bloodophobia or whatever, remember? What kind of serial killer is afraid of blood?
Is Toko Genocide Jack? The answer is yes and no. Another riddle. Man,
why
has this gotta be so complicated?
Oh wait, this we will understand. Genocide Jack to be Toko as well known to be. So people, right? Multiple personalities. Yes, it is about the split personality. Schizo? Oh
Now
my
I
god, I
understand.
just barely had a gun. Where the fuck is Schizo?
Is it because Genocide Jack has a split personality?
Huh?
I think I read that somewhere in the file too. They thought that the suspect might have, what did they call it? Dissociative identity disorder.
Oh, okay. But still, to go and say that about Miss Fukawa is...
Perfectly acceptable.
Asshole.
Toko's strange behavior after seeing the body is proof enough that she has a split personality.
Her behavior changed.
I got it! You're talking about how she started acting totally different than usual, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Think back. She fainted when she saw Chihiro's corpse, and then, when she woke up...
I'm fine, yeah. Whoa, is that a dead body? Hey, are you dead? Yeah. She must have hit her head real hard when she fainted. The world has found it back and the back at top spin blah blah. Web of lies. This is quite a concern that are completely different, blah.
She was acting funny, that's for sure. That melancholy tone of hers completely disappeared.
Don't go assigning adjectives to my tone without permission.
Not to mention, once she regained consciousness and saw Chihiro's body again, she was utterly calm. In other words, within her is one personality that can't handle blood, and one that obviously can.
So when Toko trapped herself in her room, it's because she was scared of Genocide Jack?
Yep.
The reason she locked herself in her room wasn't to keep other people from getting in. It was to keep her other personality from getting out.
What?
Toko was afraid. Afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her. Of killing even more people.
How?
Yeah. How can you know all this?
I do believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this? No. What she wants to know is, how could you tell them?
Huh?
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange conversation. She told me a most interesting story. She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time. And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right, Toko?
Aww.
This is all a lie. Right, Toko?
You said you wouldn't tell anyone.
What?
You promised. I can't believe you lied.
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't ask you to. This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy
And
fairy
it wasn't
tale.
her.
Besides, you broke your promise first. You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone. But in spite of that promise,
Yeah, I know that's not what happened,
You
bruh.
said if I kept my promise, you would go out with me. That's the only reason I promised.
how many times do I have to tell you? I never said that, but you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing.
I tried. I swear I tried to control it.
But your efforts were useless. What a disappointment. Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question directly.
The person you don't mean.
Toko's body started to lunge backwards. He used the butt echoed across the courtroom, but in seconds. Oh! Sup?
Well, hello there! Is it me you were hoping to see?
Sup, girl?
What the heck? So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do?
It wasn't you, I know it wasn't
I'm
you.
the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better yet, let's go with Genocide Jill!
Okay, Genocide Jill.
What the fuck is this?
Toko, what happened to you?
Not Toko, that's a loser name, and what happened is a textbook split personality. So what if one of them happens to be a serial killer? You should turn a blind eye to one's faults.
The fuck is wrong with you?
So intense.
Like they say, sound in murderous mind, sound in murderous body.
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
me
Yes,
sense.
well, the world is composed of a front and a back, you know. Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie. Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun!
It's beyond insane.
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Some of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you. I am the mastermind of all masterminds! Just kidding!
Then it's not true?
Of course it's not true! How dare you try to link me to that creepazoid? And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless! I mean, they just let this idiotic bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town!
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people. It's a necessary evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself causes pain for everyone. Just kidding again!
This should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro's death. There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
Is there?
A motive?
Remember what Monokuma told us? If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed. Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was about Genocide Jack. If a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined.
Why does it tell me? I thought we were
So
friends.
she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself exposed.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
Huh?
But I cannot imagine anyone other than you could murder someone in such a bizarre fashion.
Maybe so, but nevertheless, it's the truth.
Do you really expect any of us to believe you?
Yeah. I could never believe a word you say, you monster.
I can. Maybe. Maybe she's totally right about that, but something's still bothering me. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. What's he said in most details? I know what you're gonna say, aren't you? The rope or the scissors? Status of the dead body. She always used the same murder weapon and the same thing to tie them up.
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone.
Completely.
Not. Fuck you. You're wrong,
No,
asshole.
that's wrong.
The most important thing, the murder weapon and the thing up.
Are the methods of murder really exactly the same? I'm not so sure about that. I think there's a slight difference between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
Huh? How's it any different?
Uh-oh, you don't know? Well then, human garbage, let me tell you!
What the fuck?
I murder with passion and conviction. I consider myself a professional, and I have a very particular way of doing things.
Yeah, I know.
Imagine you go to a fancy Italian restaurant. They're very picky about the noodles, the sauce, everything. But what happened to Chihiro? It'd be like if that same Italian restaurant started using ragu or Chef Boyardee.
Yep.
This is no creation of mine.
I am the best detective.
Let
ever.
me rephrase that in a way that maybe makes more sense. There are two clear differences between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
I know. Fatal injury.
I got it!
Fatal injury.
For one,
Easy.
the cause of death is different. In the Genocide Jack murders, all the victims were killed the same way. According to the case file, they were all apparently killed with a... But Chihiro died from a blow to the head, right?
Ah, yes. That is remarkably different from the other murders.
Wouldn't it be strange for someone who kills the same way without fail to suddenly change their method? And there's more. one more conflicting detail.
I know what you're gonna
That's
say.
right. In my recipe of murder, if the bloody message is the tortellini, then the arrangement of the body would be the pesto sauce.
Could you please stop comparing killing people to cooking?
So, are you saying the other difference has to do with how the body was arranged?
Yep.
I got it!
Yes, got it.
Do you remember what the killer used to suspend her? They'd use some kind of rope to hang her up by her wrists.
What is your point?
Well, in all the previous Genocide Jack cases, something else was used to suspend them. Specifically, pairs of razor-sharp scissors.
And guess what? I used my own specially designed scissors for the murders and the arrangement. Like I said, I'm a professional, so naturally I'm very picky about the tools I use. And you know what else? Big
What?
Mac said there's two differences, but he's wrong.
Big Mac? Are you referring to me?
Listen up, Big Mac. There's actually one more difference.
What you call me Big Mac? What? Because my name is Makoto? Okay, let's get to you.
My word, you really didn't notice? Take a look at who the victims were in each Genocide Jack case. There's a pattern there, just waiting to be discovered.
Ah, crap, I didn't pay any attention.
Figure that out, and it'll be plain as death why I couldn't have possibly killed that little lolly girl.
Let's see. Don't observe this evidence.
I got it!
Okay, probably.
Is
I
it
don't know.
because Chihiro was a girl?
Bingo! Bullseye! Right on the money!
What are you talking about?
In all the Genocide Jack cases, all the victims had something in common.
Okay, apparently they're all men. I would swear the one on the right was a girl, but okay. Well, now that you look at the body, it's not that clear, so yeah.
They were all guys?
That's right! The people I kill with such passion and conviction are all adorable little men! I can't believe I said it! I'm so embarrassed!
The hell is wrong with you?
I can't help it! I'm just a full-throttle boy-on-boy fangirl, and the mopey side of me just hates it. But now I'm on the fast track to becoming a full-fledged fan madam!
So, since Chihiro was a girl and not an adorable little man, you wouldn't kill her?
Would an Italian chef suddenly start making ramen just because they're both noodles? Don't be stupid. I have too much passion and conviction to cross that line. That's the absolute reality of the one and only.
We get it. You've clearly explained your hobby and your philosophy. But that's not all there is to it. It's a different matter entirely. When you're forced to kill in order to survive.
Quiet, lowly cur!
Lowly? Cur?
I would never kill for a reason as petty as mere survival. And if by some fluke I did kill to survive, why would I bother with the message and arrangement? It'd make me the obvious suspect!
That does make some amount of sense.
Plus, whatever reason I have for killing, I would never leave out my prized scissors. Who would go out of their way to use a big, stupid, heavy dumbbell?
Maybe you used the dumbbell because you couldn't find any scissors in the school?
Any scissors?
I don't just use any scissors.
Okay.
I only use my own set of high-class envy of the entire world! Scissors!
Okay, whatever. There still aren't any in the school.
Are you sure about that? Da-da-da-da!
What the fuck?
She's fully equipped!
That's right! So I can kill anywhere, anytime! Why would I resort to dumbbells or rope when I have my trusty scissors by my side? Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong! You can't, can you? Gutter dogs, all of you! Not to mention, I have no clue how to tie a good knot. So rope's totally out of the question anyway!
I have no idea what's going on anymore! Could such a heinous villain really be innocent?
But the body really was suspended, right? And nobody but the police knew about that.
Yeah. That's why we figured it had to be the real deal and not some copycat killer or...
How could I know one person who knew about his accusations is you then.
Here's
I know
my
it's not
answer. Byakuya, it's possible you could have found out, isn't it? You'd have no problem gaining access to classified government documents or internal police records. Plus, you'd already looked through the Genocide Jack file before this all happened, hadn't you?
Are you saying Mr. Togami did it?
No, it's a possibility. Somebody
Then
else.
the
could find
reason he pushed the theory of Genocide Jack being the killer so hard was because he wanted to pin the crime on her.
So, he rearranged the scene to disguise it and make it look like I put my stamp on it. The adorable glasses man was behind it all. Oh, I'm on fire!
Well, Byakuya, what's your response?
I see. So now the suspicion falls on me.
Yeah,
Then I
quite.
must ask, when would you say I began acting suspicious? Surely you must have an answer.
Looking back and thinking about it now,
Every goddamn
the
day.
way you were acting right before we discovered the body was a little strange.
And the locker rooms.
You wanted to go to the girls' locker room right away, right? But since you're a guy,
I should have naturally thought of the boys' locker room first. Is that what you want to say?
Maybe
The
I'm just
victim was Chihiro, a girl. Hence why I said we should check the girls' locker room.
Nothing strange about that, I'd say.
on the contrary, there's something very strange.
We didn't know it was
Okay
Chihiro
then,
back then.
what's so strange about it? Go ahead, share with the rest of the class.
We were the first one to get there, you asshole. Dude, it's obvious.
Was Chihiro.
No, that's wrong.
Well, it wasn't wrong. The victim was Chihiro. Took me a goddamn while.
I'll tell you what's so strange about that.
Okay.
Because up until we actually discovered the body, we couldn't have known who the victim was. So your claim that you went to the girls' locker room first because Chihiro was the victim doesn't hold up.
I see. That's a good answer, I must admit. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. But your reasoning is still too weak.
Huh?
What's wrong? Is that it? Surely you've got more than that. Go ahead. Show us.
What's with Byakuya's attitude? It's like he doesn't even care. I got him cornered, but he's acting like he's nothing.
What's the matter? You're not finished already, are you? There must be more to it.
There is. I think.
There is more to it. Think about it. We just talked about the differences between this case and past Genocide Jack incidents. The proof you're looking for is hidden in there.
Oh? Proof that I'm the culprit, you mean?
He's the only one who can know. Could it be? God damn you.
Never seen that rope before in my life.
You lying son of a bitch.
No, that's wrong. Actually, I'm pretty sure you have seen it before.
But it's not you.
Because you see, that rope, or should I say, that extension cord?
What? An extension cord?
Byakuya, you've used the extension cord in the library more than once, haven't you? And the same extension cord that was in the library all this time went missing after the murder. And there's no way someone who uses that extension cord as much as you do wouldn't discover that fact.
Then Byakuya must be the one who took the extension cord. I can't imagine any other possibility.
That's really what you think? Then your conclusion is something like this? I killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, then hung her up and wrote that bloody message. I intentionally made it look like Genocide Jack was behind it. Is that about right?
He's doing it again. He's totally calm and totally Wait, how do you...
What's wrong? I asked you if you think that's what happened.
Hell yes, that's what happened. So that's it, right? Byakuya's the killer.
I don't disagree with not disagreeing.
He kept calling this a game, right? So he'd be totally willing to do something like this to win.
Sorry, but could we hold on just a second? I think we need to talk about this a little more.
Huh? Do we really need to? We've already decided who did it.
I know, but still, there's something that's still bothering me.
Is that right? And what, pray tell, is still bothering you? I killed her in the girls' locker room, then disguised my crime. Specifically, I dressed it up to make it look like it was the work of a homicidal psychopath. What about all that bothers you?
Wait. What was that he just said right now? Jiro's body was definitely found in the girl's bar. Does that mean... I don't think crime.
I got it!
Has to be it.
You say you killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, right? But are you sure about that? Isn't it possible that the murder took place somewhere else?
How disappointing. What kind of question is that? Even in the world of disappointments, this is a true letdown. She was found dead in the girls' locker room. There is absolutely no question about that. How could the scene of the crime have been anywhere else?
Well, I think it's entirely possible that she was killed somewhere else, along with the rest of the murder scene.
The rest of the murder scene? That was awfully specific. Please tell me you have a reason for saying all of that.
I believe I do.
Yeah, Byakuya, did you just... did you just take your... off your guard? When suddenly the story moved to the crime scene, Byakuya who'd been so conflicted up till now. Maybe Byakuya could never even realize that the actual could have been somewhere else.
Hey! Don't just move on without permission! What do you mean she was killed somewhere else?
Come on, Makoto.
He's pissed.
If there's any chance the murder took place somewhere else, let's see the proof.
Sakura's account. This one, maybe?
I got it! The proof that she was killed somewhere else is... the poster that's hanging in each locker room.
Your proof is some posters?
The poster in the girls' locker room was a picture of a big-boobed supermodel. But don't you think that's kind of strange? Why would the girls' locker room have a poster like that?
I bet those massive jugs of hers were totally fake!
Meanwhile, the boys' locker room had a poster of the super popular boy band Tornado. Again, that doesn't really seem to belong in a boys' locker room.
So you're saying that maybe the posters were switched?
And there's one other thing I noticed about the locker rooms. You know what I'm talking about, right, Sakura?
You're referring to my protein coffee, aren't you?
Protein coffee?
While I was in the girls' locker room earlier, I spilled some protein coffee on the carpet, but I noticed that after the murder, the stain had been totally scrubbed away.
Not scrubbed away.
I got it! The stain on the girls' locker room carpet wasn't scrubbed away.
Continuing.
In fact, I found it on the boys' locker room carpet.
That's definitely the stain from my protein coffee.
Then, does that mean that the carpets were switched too? But why would anyone do that?
To move the murder scene from one locker room to the other.
What?
In other words, in order to completely swap the scene of the crime, the blood-stained poster and carpet were moved along with the dead body. By doing this, the killer was able to change the entire room where the murder took place.
I can certainly follow your reasoning, but why would the culprit bother doing that?
Huh?
Why would they go through all that trouble of switching the scene of the crime? Actually, an even bigger question. If the murder did take place in the boys' locker room, then how did Chihiro get in the boys' locker room in the first place? To get into the locker rooms, you have to swipe your e-handbook across the card reader device. But Chihiro's handbook should have only allowed her access to the girls' locker room. She had no way to get...
No, she did have a way! And I can tell you what it was.
Oh, fuck,
I
fuck.
highly doubt that.
Shut up! I'm telling you, I know how she could have done it.
I know how.
I'm talking about Leon's handbook, of course.
No, that's wrong. No, I don't think Chihiro used Leon's handbook.
Why not?
Because Leon's handbook was broken.
Oh. Well, then, yeah, I guess that'd be pretty impossible.
I am struck silent by how quickly you gave up.
Plus, isn't there a regulation against using someone else's handbook?
Actually, the rule states that loaning your handbook is prohibited. It says nothing about borrowing one. In other words, you could borrow a dead person's handbook all you want, and you'd be safe.
Yup, yup, yup. Hit the nail square on the noggin.
Of course, if it were broken, that wouldn't make any sense anyway.
So then, she must have hacked hers, like I said. She used her ultimate programmer skills and...
Psst! You can't fix an e-handbook. The instant you open one up, a security buzzer starts blaring.
So, if she didn't use Leon's handbook, and she didn't modify her own handbook...
Maybe Mr. Naegi's initial assumption is just wrong?
It seems like there's no way she could have got into the boys' locker room. So I guess so.
Okay then, I vote for Byakuya.
No. Is that it then? Yuriko was killed in the boys' locker room.
Hold on a second. I agree with you, though. I think you're on the right track.
What the? You finally decide to open your mouth and that's what you've got to say? There's no way she could get in the boys' locker room, right?
Maybe it was broken afterwards.
Why are you so sure she couldn't get in? There's still one other way she could have gained access.
What?
What are you talking about? What other way is there?
Well, to explain that, why don't we take a little break from the trial? I'd like you all to come see something.
Wait. Just what do you think you're doing?
Don't worry. This'll make the whole trial more exciting. I'm sure that thought must please you.
Huh? It'll make things more exciting? Well, all right then. I declare an official class trial recess.
Huh? For real?
Now then, what is it you want to show us? It better not be boring or I'll be very unhappy.
Oh, I have no doubt it'll meet your lofty expectations. So, shall we go?
So before I even know what was happening, the class trials has been put to a hold. We headed off with Kyoko and where she took us was the pool.
The girls' locker room?
We've already searched this place top to bottom! What are you trying to pull, Missy?
I'd like you to examine the victim's body one more time.
You want to check it?
Be sure to examine the entire body very carefully.
Examine her carefully? Like using our hands?
No way!
It's probably best if I don't run my hands all over a girl's dead body.
It's not that I'm creeped out or anything, it's just... based on religious grounds, you know?
Very well. I'll do it.
But you're a girl. You shouldn't have to touch a dead body. Just let one of the boys do it.
No, it's okay. I think Chihiro would rather have a girl examine her. So just
I
leave
think
this
I know
to
where
me.
this is going.
Sakura.
What is this? Some kind of secret girl-on-girl action? Is that what you two are about?
That's not it at all. Stop screwing around.
Okay, here I go. I'm sorry, Chihiro. Please excuse the intrusion.
I know where this is going.
Be sure to check her entire body, and I believe we will solve this particular mystery.
I know where you are going, you
entire
sick
body?
burp.
I know you say that. What? This is... What is...
What is it?
Not possible. It's not possible.
Sakura's eyes were staring wildly at you. He was lifeless from her massive frame.
This girl is
Is
A
what?
boy.
is a boy.
I knew it! Hey!
I see. So she was actually a he. Interesting. Thank you for confirming this fact.
What?
You're joking, right?
I wouldn't joke about this.
Then it's really true?
I knew it.
Chihiro was a guy?
Oh, what? You guys didn't know? Heck, I knew that right off the bat. Chihiro Fujisaki was totally a guy.
Oh, that was a secret.
He was a cross-dresser? Oh, now I'm really on fire! I wish I had killed him!
So that's what Kyoko wanted to show everyone, huh? Yes, that certainly does make things much more exciting. Now let's ride this wave of excitement back to the courtroom and get back to the trial.
Were the two handbooks from Junko and Sayaka.
I do apologize for keeping you waiting. Now then, let's resume the class trial. We've all just learned of the shocking revelation that Chihiro was actually a boy. Let's pick up from there.
So that was it for today, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a like, subscribe, click the video on the left to see some special video, click the video on the right to see the most recently uploaded, click on the playlist to see every episode of Danganronpa so far, and click the button in the middle to subscribe for more videos every day, and don't forget to click on the bell for notifications. So anyway, goodbye everybody.